So welcome back to part two, ladies and gentlemen, of Pro Wrestling Tonight, right here on IndieQuebec.com. We're going to go over our thoughts on Ric Flairs Last Match. It's the Prez, Dre, Magnificent Dre Breeze. Dre, what did you think of Ric Flairs Last Match, the show? Let's start off with the weekend, the whole idea, the whole show.
I liked it. I thought it was cool. It's reminiscent of was it All In before
Like the
AEW?
their first ever show? Yeah, All In, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of reminiscent of All In.
Yeah, agreed, yeah.
Bringing in a bunch of guys from a bunch of companies. It was a great talent pool. Man, it was okay. Besides Jarrett and Flair, and this is no knock on the men, they're amazing, they're legends, but they're fucking 70. Well, not Jeff, but you know what I mean. He's been through some
Jeff was
hardship.
good. Jeff was amazing heel. And his wife is an amazing heel.
He is. He's not the problem. His body's the problem.
Yeah.
He looks like a 55-year-old
man.
man.
Yeah. He doesn't look like Bobby Lashley out here, of course.
No, he looks like your uncle, or he looks like a fucking pissed off redneck that lives down the street. I mean, you're not really intimidated. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'd fight the redneck. After he has a couple beers, I'd probably kick the shit out of him.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly, you know what I'm saying? So that's the only problem with Jeff, is that he's not what he used to be in sense of his body and his shape and everything. You know what I mean? But his talent, he's still got it. He could still go a match without like his breath fucking leaving his body. But you know what I'm saying? It's like watching your dad. It's like watching your dad wrestle Jay Lethal. You know, I mean, wrestle fucking Andrade. You know what I'm saying? My dad does not have physique, and it doesn't interest me to watch him run around the ring with Andrade. You know what I'm saying?
Andrade, honestly, looked amazing in this match, though.
Because he is amazing. He's one of the most talented wrestlers.
He really is. He really is.
His only problem is his language barrier, which is his English is good, but I mean, his promos come off, you know, a bit, you know. That's the only reason. And the company's like, in their head, they're like, oh, I really want to put a Mexican head of my company. Like, let's just be honest. That's what they say.
That's gotta
That's their,
be at least
you know what I'm saying? How many Mexican world champions have there been?
I think they see like, okay, we need like one Mexican who's like high up on the card, but he'll never be like the guy.
Besides Rey Mysterio.
Who was the guy for like 2 months?
Who's the most respected luchador of all time, besides maybe Eddie Guerrero or Mil Mascaras? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Eddie won the belt at WrestleMania, but it was more Benoit's time.
Exactly, but isn't Eddie a Mexican American? And so is Rey Mysterio. They're Mexican Americans.
There you go. Exactly. They're not even they're born in the States.
You know what I mean? They're exactly, which I think is maybe Andrade's only like obstacle is the acceptance in America of Latino in general, Mexicans being world champions for their talent, and not just making them heels. They're like, you know, they put them in main events as a heel. You know, so
but it was it's an obstacle. Honestly, it's sad that it's an obstacle, but it's an obstacle that the minorities have to face. But he did look amazing here.
He did.
Flair, honestly, looked. I thought he might like have a heart attack live in front of us.
It was bad.
And honestly, I've been looking at the wrestling news every day, dreading to see like there's complications for Flair after that match. He's been hospitalized or something. No, there was times in the match where he was just out of it. Like, I mean, had he known that he would look that bad in the match, I don't think he would have done it. That being said, he got through the match. He was like comatose on the ground for half of it, but he got through the match.
He did. I'll give him props where props are due. I think this is his first step. I think Ric Flair wanted to see if Ric Flair can be a promoter.
That could be, yeah, because working with Conrad, working with Jim Crockett Promotions, I think they're just licensing the name Jim Crockett Promotions.
You know what I'm saying? Look at this. That place was stacked.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
I mean, Conrad, this guy, he's got a lot of money, Conrad Thompson, and his podcasts are very popular. He could,
So you know what I'm saying?
He could start a company, but
say you put that together, Conrad Thompson, Ric Flair, and Jim Crockett, who's still alive. Jim Crockett was on Impact and on AEW recently. Maybe Jim Crockett's like, you know what? People are fucking taking my tapes and using my style with the NWA and using my this and that. Fuck it, I'm coming back.
Yeah. And like, just to probably like, he'll probably just license his name ultimately, but like he'll be involved in some way. But I think really it would be Conrad's company, you know?
Yeah. But this is what
you got Ric Flair. Yeah, Ric Flair could still appear as like the GM or something. And all these StarCast events that he puts on, you could have one of these after. Yeah, it could be something. It could be the return of Jim Crockett Promotions. So who would have thought like NWA would be like relevant? Jim Crockett Promotions is back.
It's relevant.
It's relevant. It is relevant now. I mean, a lot of wrestling fans probably don't even know what Jim Crockett Promotions is. Jim Crockett Promotions basically stopped being relevant in like 1988 or something like that.
Exactly, and they're using the name now. You know, and now they're using the name again. I think it's a fucking excellent idea. I mean, okay, it's not an
Tony
excellent
Schiavone
idea.
there.
That was
awesome.
pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I see it possibly being a future company. I mean, look,
they'll have to like, it wouldn't be like this show, but you could see that they know which are the good young guys coming up. Like they couldn't just use like Impact really helped out on this show.
They did.
Impact sent a lot of guys.
And so did MLW. Impact and MLW. It was almost like this was an Impact and MLW produced show.
Yeah.
Like, and once again, they've been working a lot together recently. Davey Richards coming to Impact. Now Josh Alexander taking on Fatu. Eddie Edwards and I know Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards are supposed to do a Wolves reunion again, which everybody in Impact wants to see.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see that. I don't know what, but I think I see them building, like they seem to be working a lot together recently, which is good for them. Because I mean, at the end of the day,
I think that's where they're gonna get their most money.
Exactly. I mean, think of it this way: they can't work with Ring of Honor anymore. They belong to AEW. AEW doesn't need Impact or MLW because they have Ring of Honor now.
Yeah.
So when they want to do open door shit, he just uses Ring of Honor. He doesn't really need Impact no more. He doesn't need MLW. So at the end of the day, Impact and MLW have to look each other and go, I think it's time that we share talent and we start to work together because this motherfucker's going to put us out of business. With a smile on his face and shaking your hand.
They pool their resources, they could do some interesting things for sure.
I mean, Fatu versus Josh Alexander was a sick match.
Yeah, let's go over the undercard of the Ric Flairs Last Match. That was amazing. Alexander versus Fatu. Two guys, both representing their companies, and yeah, man, like it's cool for. It was almost like not a dream match, but like a what if kind of match. Like, oh, that would
exactly.
be cool.
And it was like these are probably two of the best wrestlers that aren't in AEW or WWE. And that haven't ever been there. Like it's these two. These two are the biggest guys that have never set foot in that fucking company, besides maybe Jay White, who technically has.
No, that's a good point. They really might be. They have maybe the two biggest reputations from two guys who have never been to AEW or WWE. So yeah, that was a great match. Machine Guns versus the Wolves. Classic tag match.
You see what I'm saying? Like that right there too is MLW. Put together the Wolves because they let Davey Richards go as a Wolf, and the other three are Impact talent. Once again, that's another match of those two working together.
Then we had Davey Boy Smith Jr. against Killer Cross. That was a pretty interesting match.
That was a sick match. When they did the suplex competition, people go back and watch that match. That was pretty fucking good.
These guys are
good.
These two are like two guys that should both be main eventers somewhere.
They should. Yeah. They're dominating, big, good on the microphone, seasoned wrestlers that don't make mistakes, and they're not under contract with anybody right now, which fucking blows my mind. To say otherwise, then he must be difficult outside of wrestling. That's the only thing I can say. And I'm not saying it because I think they're difficult. I never met the two guys.
It's just like we're looking for a reason. I mean, what could the reason be?
I mean, I almost bought an autographed picture from Cross a couple of years ago. I was communicating with him over Instagram back when he was in Lucha Underground. Super nice man. Super nice guy. I have nothing to say against him. But when it comes to working relationships, maybe he asks too much. Maybe he's like, I ain't doing that. And I think Davey Boy might be the same thing. I don't know, because he seems to be, I don't know what it is. Why isn't anybody signing him?
People seem to be hesitant to sign him, even though the guy has like all the tools you would think.
He has everything. He is, I mean, he's dominating.
No, really, he is. If he was in another sport, like, it wouldn't make sense for this guy to not be on like an NHL team if he was like in a hockey situation or whatnot.
Exactly. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it's really puzzling, but we get to see them here. So yeah, it was cool. This show was interesting mix. I like the booking overall. We got to see Jonathan Grisham, who I thought like was like done, but he appears here, wins. So maybe Conrad was like, don't quit wrestling yet. Maybe
calm down.
Think about Jim Crockett promotion.
I think his wife, he came home mad.
She's like, hell no. You think you're going to be like, sitting around here fucking...
Whoa. Calm your ass down. Wait till he lets you go out of your contract. Don't tell people you're quitting wrestling. Calm down. Probably what happened. Bandito versus Laredo Kid versus Ray Phoenix, representing A&W, and Taurus also from Impact. Wow, that was a sick-ass luchador match.
Taurus did a military press off the top rope.
That was great. That guy is fucking bananas, man.
Honestly, this whole show really was like, how come none of these guys are on AEW or WWE? Making $1 million? Like being main eventers, like really, a lot of these guys are like top, and they're only getting better. Like Taurus, it's been years that this guy's been wrestling in the States now, so he's really accustomed to the American style. He's appeared a lot in Impact. I could see him doing great in AEW.
He could, but once again, AEW has so many people. Until they go online,
they don't really need more people though.
Until they go online and specifically say this guy's cut because we're going to bring in some different talent, which is basically what Impact did recently. People are like,
or be like, this guy are going to Ring of Honor.
Exactly. Start cutting some people, man. You have to let some people go. You have to bring in some people. There's no use in leaving and having the same people there for 2 years. It gets irrelevant after a while. It gets like Sheamus in WWE. Why is Sheamus still in WWE?
I agree. I know. I agree.
And it's not even a knock on Sheamus. He's a good wrestler. I'd like to see him somewhere else.
I know. No, I know. It's been like he's been there way too long. Always pretty much doing the same thing. Exactly. I agree. Sheamus almost feels like an old WWF guy, like a hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's just like middle of the card at this point. Like he's been there so fucking long, he's not gonna do anything.
Paycheck and goes home.
It's Sheamus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he could use some. I think he's been in WWE for like 15 years right now. By now.
Easily one of the longest tenures right now in that company, besides The Miz.
Yeah, The Miz. Yeah, The Miz might be the longest tenured.
I mean, then you got Orton, but Orton's retired a few times, semi-retired, been out with injuries, So.
Oh, Orton, yeah. But yeah, no, definitely. Sheamus, I agree. He could use like it would be cool to see him show up somewhere. I'd like to see him do something different. How would he be in NWA or New Japan?
Exactly. Or at a thing like this, at some random event like
Yeah,
this at a
yeah,
tourney,
yeah.
it would be have him come into Ring of Honor and jump Castagnoli at the next pay-per-view.
No, that's it. How about one match I thought that was really cool? Briscoes against the Von Eriks. And I was following MLW up to before the pandemic, and then like they stopped doing shows, so I stopped following, and then they started doing shows, but I didn't really jump back on that much the bandwagon. But the Von Eriks are like just as good, if not better, as I remember them. These guys should be somewhere.
They
With the
should,
name they
because
have,
they're a legit tag team.
but they've really like before the pandemic at least like they were like making Texas for MLW. Like MLW was selling out in Texas because like the Von Eriks are back in
Yeah.
wrestling, which is
Yeah, well,
amazing.
that's if you look at the whole MLW, just
Imagine
the
if they were
build
in
up there,
WWE or AEW.
it would be crazy.
It would be sold out.
It would be. Texas loves the Von Eriks. Oklahoma loves the Von Eriks. That whole region loves
Yeah.
is Von Erich
No,
territory.
that's it. Like their name, that's it. And they're good too. They're really good. The
Yeah, they've gotten
Briscoes
better.
beat them, but that was a classic. That was another classic. I really like. There's been a lot of cool matches with the Briscoes over the past year. It's been really
Yeah,
interesting to see.
it is. It has been.
In the women's match, I wasn't that impressed with Rachel Ellering, honestly.
I wasn't
Um,
impressed with her. She was an impact, and so
she
nice
came in
girl.
looking out of shape, and then like got hurt after one move, and then the other two just kind of had to work around her. She was probably the low point of the show, if I had to pick one part.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and it's sad. She's a nice girl. I mean, she works hard, but it's just not working out. NXT cut her. Impact. She asked for her release, but I mean,
Maybe because she
uh,
saw the writing on the wall.
yeah, it was just not like I won't say she was terrible. She wasn't terrible. They've had a lot worse than her there, but I mean, like, nah, just uneventful. Like
Yeah,
uneventful.
not yeah. She's not
Too green, way too green to be on television.
just go back. She should be starting on the indies, not just because your dad
Yeah,
was the Road Warriors manager and
exactly,
champion in Memphis in 1980.
exactly.
So now basically we'll get to SummerSlam. I mean SummerSlam, yeah, Saturday.
Everybody enjoyed it. Every
Uh yeah, there was it almost felt like the continuation of WrestleMania. It's like Logan Paul and Pat McAfee. What, these guys are only going to wrestle at like big shows?
which is stupid because Pat McAfee is a hidden talent that this company has. He's the perfect
He
wrestler.
is.
He's the perfect wrestler. This man is so athletic. His mouth, his blabber fucking mouth is like nonstop. Like I saw him at War Games in NXT, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy can fucking
And he was
wrestle.
a hell of a punter in the NFL.
He was.
He
It's
really was,
crazy.
though. He really
But
fucking
everybody,
was.
I'll always remember turning on NXT and when they said Pat McAfee, and then I saw him in a feud, and I was like, the fucking punter is the first thing I said to myself. The fucking punter. He's a punter in football. They won't even let the other guys touch them while they're kicking. They cry, flag. Now he's a wrestler, but this fucker is not an ordinary fucking punter. He
No.
must have been a quarterback or something. This guy's got talent in his little finger. Like, holy fuck, this guy's
Big,
talent.
charismatic, legit. He looks natural. Logan Paul too, man. Honestly, Logan Paul and The Miz had a decent match, I'll say.
They did. Logan Paul, I mean, for the number of training that he's had to be a wrestler, he would actually have a good shot at doing that in life. He might start thinking about that because $1 million boxing matches are going to run out real quick.
Yeah.
So
The guy signed a contract with WWE, apparently. Probably just for these big events, though. I don't know if this really is getting them more ratings, but like, it just sucks because then on the show, like, there was a bunch of guys that we didn't see. I don't think Kevin Owens was even on the show. I don't think Sami Zayn was even on the show.
nope.
Drew McIntyre, like big stars, were not on the show.
No, it wasn't.
Randomly,
And it
Jeff
helped.
Jarrett was the fucking ref for the tag team title match. I was like, this just feels weird.
Just because it's in Tennessee, in Nashville.
Jeff Jarrett, like, come on. If anything,
And it
he
didn't
should have
even get that
like
big of a
cheated.
pop.
He's so heel, like for life though, that he should have cheated.
And not just that, they didn't even make him come out to his song.
I know.
Like,
That was
he's in
lame.
Nashville. You paid for him to record a song. You should have played that terrible fucking
And
song.
he could do the whole thing the whole
You know
way
what I'm
down.
saying? It was just, and what annoys me is even Cornette liked it. He was like, "It's so good. It was good. This was good. This was good." And I can feel. And I was like, I feel like people jumped on it and loved it because they're like, "Oh, Triple H is in charge," and I'm like, he didn't change anything. This card was built before he fucking even said jump how high. Yes, Triple H. Nothing was changed. Like, this is what it was as Vince was stepping down.
Oh
We're
yeah,
going
it
to
still felt
see-
very much the same to me.
Exactly. We're gonna see
Like Tommaso Ciampa just being like a little bitch in the corner.
exactly.
That
which
sucks.
is stupid.
That sucks.
That
Even though
sucks.
apparently on Raw they made him win something. He's going for the US title, but still. Still sucks that he's like a manager,
Second rate.
bodyguard.
Yeah, second rate bodyguard. Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
And what other was the main event? We'll just get into the main event. I mean, oh no, okay. What's one thing that was what's her name? Bailey. Bailey came back and formed a new stable with Io Shirai, who has a new name, Io something.
Io Sky.
Io
This is
Sky.
Io Sky.
And
Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai,
Yeah.
which is
Like-
fine.
Yeah, but it's like this. What are they? The Smurfs? 3 girls that aren't even 5'5". Let's group them up together and make them a stable. Am I supposed to be scared? Well, maybe if I'm someone who has like a phobia from little people. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, 3 little people. You know what I'm saying? Like really talented girl wrestlers, but why are you putting these 3 together? Why? What made them become friends? What made them unite together? The fact that they weren't doing anything with them for like a year now? Oh, let's dust off these toys and put them together.
It feels like they're very adamant on making Bailey heel. It has worked to a certain extent, but it feels like they're like, we can never make her go back to being good, even though that's when she was the most over.
Yeah, when she would do the fucking
Hugs and shit for the kids.
yeah, exactly. That's when
Kids
she
loved
was
her. So many little
No.
girls in the crowd had the
Kid-
haircut, you know?
Kids, my brother-in-law, my sister's husband was obsessed with her.
There you
Obsessed,
go.
obsessed with her. I was like, Jesus Christ, I have to question his taste and fucking, oh yeah. So back to what we were saying, yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so Bailey is back with a new stable. The main event, we'll get right into it. It was pretty nuts, honestly.
But why was
they
it
did-
nuts?
I mean,
Because he craned.
they come
Because
out.
he craned the ring. Because he craned the ring.
Yeah.
Like he picked the ring up.
Brock Lesnar
Like-
comes out with a tractor, lifts the ring up with a tractor. Very Attitude Era. But you know what? In the Attitude Era, though, big difference. They wouldn't do that during a match, or they wouldn't do that during a pay-per-view. The matches were epic. The pay-per-view matches wasn't like, like we're gonna do the milk truck spot in the pay-per-view. The milk truck spot was or the beer truck
Was on
spot
TV.
was on TV.
Was on TV. Exactly.
So that
Which
kind of
is a
made the
good
match
sign.
like very gimmicky.
It was like, oh no, it's Roman versus Brock and retard child again. How can we make it different? I got an idea. Let's have him come out like the fucking redneck he is with a tractor that he brought here from Saskatchewan, and he lifts the ring up, which does what? What does it do in the storyline? What is Roman Reigns supposed to say after that? Oh, well, you're so awesome. You came with a tractor and destroyed a ring. Ooh.
Roman Reigns still won.
Fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was meaningless.
It was a cool visual though. I'm surprised.
But that's all it was.
No,
it was
that's
just that. It was just a cool visual. It was basically the show is crap. Let's shine it off with something.
And at this point, Lesnar like doesn't need to lose to Roman again anymore.
No, because it makes you say to yourself, okay, so here's the Beast. Now the Beast has been beat by Drew McIntyre, knocked completely the fuck out by his boot. He's been pushed to the limit by Lashley, and he's been beat by Roman Reigns.
Like
He's
multiple times.
Like, okay, go home now.
He's starting to look weak now a bit, Brock Lesnar. He is.
Exactly. It's like, okay, go home, man. Bye. Like,
as a face, I mean, it's weird. At one point, he put Roman in the bucket of the tractor, slams him with it, kind of.
You know, you can't make him face, because a face is somebody people like. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar doesn't talk to people.
That's it. In real life, he's like an awkward, like loner.
He is. He's awkward. He's not like a super asshole. Maybe the people in the town that he lives in Saskatchewan now, when they see him, he probably greets them nicely. But there's a reason he is an American who moved all the way to buttfuck nowhere in Saskatchewan, where even Canadians don't want to live.
Left the fuck alone.
He wants to be left the fuck alone with his weird ass wife that nobody likes in the WWE. That's why she's never anywhere there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna make the guy a face, there's nothing likable about him. I mean, an anti-hero.
Besides that, he's absolutely fucking beast. But
exactly. So, an anti-hero, but you can't make him a nice guy.
No.
A cowboy
his whole
hat.
like trying to be funny, almost like Jimmy Kimmel monologue-esque sketches are horrible. You could tell that he hardly gives a shit, and he's like, whatever. Even if he fucks up, he's like, whatever. Exactly. I think I've literally heard, like, seen him be like, fuck up, and he's like, whatever, and just keeps talking.
Exactly. He comes off about as face and as nice as fucking Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Because in real life, he's a straight shooting asshole. You can't make a straight shooting asshole fucking look like a face. He's not. He's a fucking asshole.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. He's not a piece of shit human, but he's a fucking asshole. So if you're not making him a fucking crooked ass heel, unbeatable fuck, you can't push this guy. You can't.
Right now, he's just there to put over Roman Reigns. I don't see him being a face beyond that after, but we'll see. But I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, so I don't think it was like a very super memorable SummerSlam. I've seen worse ones recently, though.
No, it was a good SummerSlam. Like, you can't say the show wasn't good. It's been since WrestleMania. It's probably the best pay-per-view that
WWE's put on. Oh yeah.
Better than all the television that they've put on.
Oh hell yeah.
This just saved them. This is how this works. Triple H taking over with Stephanie and Khan, who nobody fucking cares. But Triple H and Stephanie taking over and people being like, oh shit, this is going to be good. And all the fucking butt munchers saying, oh, talent in AEW are going to go back now because McMahon's not there. Like, that was the only problem. And this being good is what's going to save their ass once again from, like, getting surpassed by another.
People are going to give WWE another chance, I think. And if they put
Yeah,
on
they
like
will. Now,
okay
they will.
shows, it could work. This was a decent show. It had some flaws, a lot, but it had some good wrestling here and there. Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for the weekend there. That was quite a big SummerSlam weekend.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was. It was.
got any other notes before we head off the air this week, Dre?
And building up for Impact Emergence. That's what's coming up. You gotta watch Emergence. There's probably gonna be some surprise show ups there.
Yeah.
Impact tonight, man. Luke Gallows is gonna be taking on PCO in a match. That's gonna be pretty
Oh,
good because it's building for Emergence. It's gonna be Bullet Club versus Honor No More. If
yeah,
Honor No
that
More
feud's still
loses,
going on.
they have to disband. So that's gonna be a pretty good. It's shaping up to be a pretty good fucking pay-per-view, man, which is free if you got Impact Plus. So $9 a
Pretty
month.
worth, pretty much worth. I see Honor No More breaking up.
I would think that that's a possibility too, but I don't know if I just don't know because I think the angle that they might do is because the thing is the Good Brothers contract is up. Right now
Oh,
they're appearing on Impact because they want to appear on Impact. That doesn't mean they might not re-sign with them, but their contracts have been up since July. They're going there
so it's
because they
like
want
an
to be
appearance
there.
by a show by show
Yeah,
thing.
they're paid appearance by appearance right now, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking maybe they're going to be putting the titles on OGK, man, because they didn't bring Mike Bennett and Matt Taven in there with Maria Kalinas. Because they wouldn't have brought Maria in if they were just wanted to
And
bring
they
these
do
guys.
deserve a push.
Like, yeah, like they're pushing them in the NWA. They might defeat La Rebellion. You know, they're going for the titles in the NWA. I see them going for the titles in Impact. I actually see them as the Impact's next tag team champions.
Yeah, it could be good. Yeah, and like you said, Impact right now, they're kind of like switching the roster up, so it makes it unpredictable because we don't know where they're going from here. It's cool. I like that.
Exactly.
So, who will you give your thumbs up of the week to?
Ricky fucking Starks, man.
Ricky Starks. Not a bad choice. Can't
Ricky
argue
Starks.
with Ricky Starks.
Man, the next building of a good fucking storyline. Thumbs up to Ricky Starks, man.
I'm gonna give my thumbs up of the week to Andrade, who did a great job in the main event of the Ric Flairs Last Match, holding
Holding
it
up
up
for
for
his
his
father.
team when Flair was like done at some points.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Lethal too was very good in that match.
Oh, Lethal's always good.
Yeah,
Lethal is lethal, man. Fucking Jay Lethal.
underrated as hell. Which I think
Really.
that's one of the reasons that he was in the main event of Ric Flair's Last Match.
Really. It was because he imitated Ric Flair on that TNA moment. They were showing
and then he
TNA
technically
moment.
had Ric Flair's Last Match in TNA. Remember?
Yeah, he did. Let's
So
give
now he
respect
really
to
did
JP.
have Ric Flair's Last Match.
Let's change that. Let's give my thumbs up to Jay fucking Lethal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Jay Lethal.
For stepping up when needed, wherever needed, like just putting Lethal in any
Such a
match.
pro.
And he's just a fucking pro, man.
Yeah. No, he
So.
definitely is. Yep. So that'll be it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be taking 2 weeks break for vacation and well, maybe like a week and a half break. So we'll be back.
See.
We'll be back in about 2 weeks with our next episode. So between then and now, you can check out old episodes. And thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one.
Share and keep supporting wrestling.
Yes.